UFC Vegas 108 takes place this weekend. We have a new main event since Amir Albazi pulled out with injury. Hyun Park is replacing him against Tatsuro Taira. Can Tatsuro Taira get back in the win column? Can Hyun Park shock the world and bolt himself up the rankings? Can Chris Duncan land yet another meme guillotine submission? We answer all that and predict every single fight on the card in this video, so let's get into it. First fight on the card, we have Bashi taking on Yannis. Bashi is an elite wrestler and grappler, and so far that has gotten him to a 13-1 record. His striking is kind of subpar, but I don't think he's going to need a lot of striking in this matchup. Yannis is taking this fight on 1 week's notice. He is the Fury FC featherweight champion, and his base is striking. The apex cage is smaller than normal cages, which is always advantageous for the grappler. So in this matchup, Yannis, I sincerely doubt, has had enough time to train his takedown defense for a guy like Bashi. So we're going to go with Bashi to get the takedown early and get a submission in round number 1. Next fight on the card, we have Piera Rodriguez taking on Ketlen Souza. Piera Rodriguez, when you first analyze her, you would think that she is a heavy wrestler grappler, but she actually has 0 submissions on her record. She has decent striking, but if she doesn't get the takedowns in this matchup, she is more than likely gonna lose. Her volume striking is not the greatest. She does have an impressive win over Josephine Knudsen, which is why I think she is currently the -200 favorite. Ketlen Souza, on the other hand, she's a striker with big finishing ability, but she did just fight Angela Hill and looked pretty poor against her. So if she's going out there and losing a decision to Angela Hill, who was able to get takedowns on her, Piera Rodriguez should be able to get takedowns on her as well. You could go back and forth on this fight. As long as it stays standing, Ketlen Souza probably has a great chance to win, but Piera Rodriguez, if she activates the takedowns, she's going to look like a -1,000 favorite. So for those reasons, I'm going to be taking Piera Rodriguez to win this fight by decision. Next fight on the card, we have Felipe Bunes taking on Rafael Estevem. Felipe Bunes is mainly a BJJ specialist. He got a nice submission win over Jose Johnson as an underdog, but he also did get pieced up by Joshua Van in that fight. And in this one, I think he really needs to win a striking battle in order to win. He needs to not get taken down relentlessly, and he will have somewhat of a chance. I don't think there's a possibility that he has a chance to submit Rafael Estevem, so he has to keep this fight standing. But even if he were to do that, I don't even know if he has a good chance of winning that. Rafael Estevem, the -460 favorite, he's also a BJJ grappler at heart. He prefers position over submission. He's just taking whatever his opponent gives him. He doesn't really hunt for the finish. He's insanely low volume striking on the feet, and when he has you down on the ground, he is also low volume there as well. So for Rafael Estevem to look like a -500 favorite in this matchup, he's going to have to get more than 10 minutes of control time, or he's going to have to find a finish against Bunes. Estevem also has a 7-year age advantage in this one, since he's 28 and Bunes is 35, and at the flyweight level, the older you get, the slower you become, and that's huge at the lower weight classes. So for all those reasons, I'm going to be taking the -500 favorite Rafael Estevem to actually win this one by sub. I think he'll get it kind of early. Felipe Bunes, I think he might go all in on trying to submit Estevem early. He's going to fail, and once that happens, his cardio is going to go out the window, and Estevem is going to get a nice easy submission. Next fight on the card, we have Rodolfo Vieira taking on Tresean Gore. Before I get into the breakdown of this one, if you plan on actually betting either guy in this matchup, sincerely, good luck to you. These are both low IQ, untrustworthy fighters. Rodolfo is a high-level BJJ specialist, but I think in order for him to win this matchup, he's going to have to do it early, because almost every fight that gets out of round 1 for Rodolfo, he always gasses out. He's a poor striker, but he does just enough on the feet where he's not getting blitzed and knocked out cold. Tresean Gore is a tricky guy to handicap. He's a decent striker with decent grappling, overall decent MMA fighter. He only has 8 fights in MMA overall, with I believe half of them coming in the UFC. I don't know how he got to this position. You know, maybe because Tough, when it first came back, they were looking for literally anyone to fight on Tough, and they just plucked Tresean Gore, who had like a 3-1 record at the time, and he's just riding the coattails of that. He looked very poor against Marco Tulio, but The one plus about Tresean Gore is he has no losses by submission, and he has multiple guillotine wins. So if Rodolfo is shooting lazy takedowns, maybe Tresean Gore can get the guillotine. Ultimately, though, the way I see this fight playing out is Rodolfo gets takedowns, Tresean Gore attempts to find a guillotine and just gets plucked into bottom position. Rodolfo slowly finds his way to a submission victory. I'm going to be predicting round 2 submission for Mr. Vieira. Next fight on the card, we have Rinya Nakamura taking on Nathan Fletcher. Now, I will preface this one as well by saying if you're betting Rinya Nakamura at -400, that is a poor decision. There is a really real chance he goes out there and doesn't shoot any takedowns. And if you're betting Nathan Fletcher at +300, you're also asking for trouble because he has very little paths to victory in this one. Rinya is a high-level wrestler. He's got decent striking, but like I said, he's shown signs of low fight IQ. He is a D1 wrestler, but doesn't shoot takedowns always. So if he's not always shooting takedowns and entertains a striking battle, he can lose this fight. Nathan Fletcher, on the other hand, high-level BJJ practitioner. He throws with very low volume, but he did get taken down 6 times by Karol who is not nearly the same level of wrestler as Rinya Nakamura. And on Tough, he got taken down and controlled by Khan Ofli, who also is not nearly the same type of wrestler as Rinya. So for those reasons, a lot of trepidation on this pick. I'm very hesitant, but I don't see a world where I can possibly take the underdog here. So we're going with Rinya Nakamura to win by decision. I think Nathan Fletcher will get taken down. I think he will allow the takedowns to happen because a lot of BJJ specialists, they think they can try to find a sub off their back, and I sincerely doubt Fletcher will be able to find a sub on a high-level wrestler like Rinya Nakamura. Next fight on the card, we have Nick Klein taking on Andrey Pulyaev. Yet again, another preface. If you're betting either side in this fight, I have news for you. They're both 0-1 in the UFC, and they're coming off the Contender Series, the both of them. So if you're betting either guy, you're just basically betting a regional fight. This is not even UFC level. Anyways, Nick Klein is a low-volume striker. He's got some decent BJJ. His MMA gym is Pura Vida BJJ, so he's mainly practicing jiu-jitsu when he goes to MMA training. He has shown durability issues. Both of his losses are by KO, and in my opinion, he just has no business being signed by the UFC. In his fights so far, he was +500 on the Contender Series and won by round 1 rear naked choke. Very wild outcome. And he was +700 against Mansour Abdul Malik, where he got KO'd in the 2nd round. Andrey Pulyaev, on the other hand, he's a decent striker. He's got a decent clinch game. He's got a questionable ground game, but he did fight and defeat Liam Anderson on the Contender Series, and Liam Anderson's BJJ grappling prowess, I believe, is levels above Nick Klein. So if you just ignore Puliev's last fight against Christian Leroy Duncan, which was a tremendous step up in competition, I think Pulyaev actually could make some noise in the middleweight division if match made correctly, and I think this is the perfect matchmaking for him to get a W. I'm picking Andrey Pulyaev to win by decision. He's already fought better grapplers and defeated them. So Nick Klein, outside of a round 1 rear naked choke where he just blitzes Pulyaev, I think Pulyaev has every other path to victory. Next fight on the card, we have Danny Silva taking on Kevin Vallejos. Danny Silva is a high-volume striker. He can mix in takedowns, but the main problem with Danny Silva is he fights on razor-close margins. He's coming off back-to-back split decision wins, fights that were razor-close that just happened to be judged in his favor. He has great durability, and I think the durability is actually going to give Kevin Vallejos some issues. Kevin Vallejos, on the other hand, he's a powerful striker. He's got big KO power. He's 11-0 to the KO, but he is 2-1 to the decision. So what that tells me is if Kevin Vallejos doesn't find a finish early, he is at risk of losing a decision. He is at risk of slowing down as the fight progresses. Also, Danny Silva does have the takedown upside, which Kevin Vallejos does not. Kevin Vallejos doesn't really have a grappling background. Vallejos is 23. Silva is 28. Silva has more time in the game than Vallejos as well. And Vallejos' resume is Cam Teague, who's not UFC level whatsoever, and Sung Woo Choi, who is the chinniest guy on the roster. You might be saying, Fins, where are you going with this? Why are you putting down Vallejos and propping up Danny Silva? Well, the reason is I'm going with the long shot dog. Danny Silva, plus 325. I think if he mixes in takedowns, he can win this fight. He's shown he's got good durability to not get knocked out early, and he's shown that he has pretty high fight IQ. If a fight is 1-1 heading into the third, more often than not, Danny Silva is winning that third round. So I kind of like that a lot. And he's also a young prospect, just like Kevin Vallejos. So he's young and hungry. He's not some type of old head that's being fed to the young prospect. I think this line is way too wide. I think even if Danny Silva loses, he's going to make it look very close. And all the Vallejos parlay bettors are going to be sweating. Not me, though. I will be having my underdog ticket on Danny Silva to win by decision. Next fight on the card, we got Neil Magny taking on Elizeu Zaleski. Neil Magny, he's a clinch merchant. He's got good cardio. He's got decent grappling. He's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage in this one and a slight age advantage because he is younger by 1 year. And in his last 12 fights, he's been the younger fighter only 3 times. And all 3 times he was younger, he won the fight. Elizeu Zaleski, he's a big power striker. He can mix in takedowns just like Neil Magny. But ever since his Renat Fakhretdinov draw, he's looked very slow in the cage. He's throwing with less volume than ever, and he's shown holes in his takedown defense, and he's struggled recently against fighters who have a longer range than him. And this one, Neil Magny, is going to have a 7-inch reach advantage, so I think that Neil Magny is going to use that very wisely. I do understand that Neil Magny is coming off back-to-back round 1 KO losses, but that was against super power punchers, you know, guys that are going to be in the top 15 for quite a while. So I'm going to be taking Neil Magny to actually win this one, turn back the clock, and win by decision. I think if he clinches Elizeu, he'll win. I think if he just outlasts him in the grappling cardio department, he will also win. And I think he throws more volume at this point in Zaleski's career than Zaleski. So Neil Magny, let's get a W here as an underdog. Next fight on the card, we have Karol Rosa taking on Nora Cornolle. Karol Rosa is a high volume leg kick merchant. She can mix in takedowns as well. She's going to be 5 years younger than Nora, and she's only really struggled against higher volume strikers, which Nora is not, or girls who take her down, which Nora is not. Nora Cornolle, on the other end, is a low-volume striker, but she has big power. She has a couple finishes on her resume. But the big issue with Nora Cornolle is she sports a 50% takedown defense and nearly got submitted by Haley Cohen in round 1. Haley Cohen hadn't fought in, I believe, 2 years at that point. So Nora Cornolle, she can land a big shot to turn the round in her favor, but in this one, she's going to need a finish or she's just going to lose by every other way. So they say that there are certain things that in life are free: death, taxes, and Karol Rosa to win by decision. She always wins by decision, it seems, in these 50-50 matchups. I think she's just going to go out there and out-volume Nora on the feet and mix in takedowns, so she leaves no room for the judges to score it for Nora. Next fight on the card, we have Esteban Ribovic taking on Elves Brenner. Esteban Ribovic is a high-volume striker. He's got good durability. He has basically a highlight in all 6 of his UFC fights outside of the Loic Radzibov one. He fights recklessly, but he also fights smart at the same time. The big problem with Esteban really is that he has T-Rex arms. He's going to have a lower reach than almost every guy he fights because he sits at about a 68-inch reach, but he's yet to be chinned, and his chin has been touched multiple times. So I like his durability. I like his volume striking. I like almost everything about Esteban Ribovic. Elves Brenner is a well-rounded shoot-a-box fighter. He's going to pressure forward for sure, but he will lose if he goes strike for strike with Ribovic. Ribovic throws 8.08 significant strikes per minute, and Brenner throws 3.99. So if this is going to stay standing for 3 rounds, I think Brenner has really no chance to win. And they've also been matchmaking my guy Brenner really poorly. They gave him Joel Alvarez and Miktabek Orbay, and now they're giving him Ribovic. Like, that's not really fair. For those reasons, there's not enough here for a dog shot. I'm going with Esteban Ribovic to actually finish the fight. I think if he just lays the pace on Brenner, Brenner's going to gas out, and I'm predicting a round 3 KO for Mr. Ribovich. Next fight on the card, we have Mateusz Rebecki taking on Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan, low volume striker. He's got big power when he does land. He's got decent grappling, but I do not like the fact that he's a guillotine merchant. He does have multiple wins by guillotine, but if his go-to move every time he gets taken down is to jump guillotine, that's not going to work against the higher level fighters in the UFC. Mateusz Rebecki, he's a decent volume striker. He's got decent power, but ultimately what he's known for is his heavy wrestling base. He's always moving forward. He's always shooting takedowns. My main concern with Mateusz is that his cardio doesn't always hold up. Like against Diego Ferreira, he got knocked out in the 3rd round because he was completely gassed out from shooting infinite takedowns. But in this one, I don't know if he's going to need to shoot a lot of takedowns. I think he can get away with shooting like 6 and completing like 3 and winning the fight with control time. I think Mateusz is also going to be the much quicker striker, and he has all the takedown upside. The line for this fight opened as Chris Duncan plus 350. He's plus 170 now, and I tend to agree with the opening betting line. I think Mateusz Rebecki should be much bigger of a favorite. I think as long as he gets takedowns, he's going to win there. And if he stays standing, I think he's going to outpoint Chris Duncan as well. Chris Duncan, the only way he wins is by meme submission with the guillotine or by meme knockout by just throwing a gnarly overhand. So Mateusz Rebecki has every other path to victory. I'm taking him to win by decision. In the main event of the evening, we got Tatsuro Taira taking on Hyun Park. Tatsuro Taira, he's a well-rounded grappler. He's got low striking volume, but he does have good durability. He's going to have the reach advantage in this matchup and the age advantage, which means that he's going to be like, 5 years younger than Hyun Park. He's been on a full training camp for this fight, considering he was supposed to be fighting Amir Albazi, who's also a grappler just like Hyun Park. And ultimately speaking, this is a tremendous step down for Tatsuro after fighting people like Alex Perez and Brandon Royval. He's now getting unranked Hyun Park. Hyun Park, on the other hand, he's a well-rounded striker. He's got good grappling, and he got decent volume striking on the feet. The main issue I have with Hyun Park is, number one, he hasn't faced nearly the same level of competition as Taira. And number two, in the road to the UFC, even though he won both fights, he got dropped and knocked down in both fights as well by no-name regional opponents. So in this one, I mean, it's kind of hard to call because they're almost mirror fighters at different points in their career. Tatsuro Taira is an Asian grappler, and Hyun Park is an Asian grappler. They both don't have the best striking. So at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to who has more experience and who has more experience over 5 rounds. With that being the logic, the only right way to pick this is to take Tatsuro Taira to win by decision. I think he can find a knockout. I don't know if he can get the sub on Hyun Park. Hyun Park has shown durability issues, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Taira finish. And here are my confident takes for the card. Austin Bashi moneyline. He should go out there and smash John Yannis. I even think I'm going to be betting his submission prop. We got Rafael Estevem moneyline. I think he should go out there and smash Felipe Bunes. Esteban Ribovich moneyline. I think Elves Brenner stands no chance. Mateusz Rebecki moneyline as well, because I don't think there's really a path to victory for Chris Duncan. My sneaky takes are Danny Silva moneyline and Neil Magny moneyline. They're both underdogs. They're the only underdogs that I took on the entire card. I'm also going with Andrey Pulyaev moneyline and going also with Rodolfo Vieira to win by sub. I'm not sure if I'll be betting any of these, honestly, because they're all sneaky, but these are my sneaky takes.